details.
I know that when you do your books, you research everything.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that was shocking to me, and I'm assuming that it's true, is that are planes really made out of the material that you were saying? That glue and plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little
This was
unsettling
scary,
to
isn't
me.
it? When I started writing the book, I didn't know what kind of company it would be set in. I wanted it to be some international company. Fine. Then I decided I wanted to have a female CEO. And I said, so what kind of company can I put my female CEO in? Let's make it aerospace, you know, because that is such a guy kind of thing. Airplanes, right? If you look at the top leadership at Boeing or Lockheed, I think there's one woman, she's personnel, something. The women are barely represented.
And I have to say that was my thought when I was reading, is she's totally out of place for the business she's in. So yes, okay.
So
funny.
Then I started, because I love doing the research, I love finding stuff out. I said, all right, there's got to be some big problem that Jake is working on. And I read some article about how planes are increasingly not made of metal, but they're made out of plastic, basically, composite. They're basically made out of these synthetic materials, like fiberglass and glue and stuff like that. It's incredible. So I found this expert at MIT, and who told me that, in fact, there have been a number of crashes, plane crashes, that are the result of failure in this material. Why? Because the U.S. government doesn't know how to inspect for it. You look at the body, the exterior of a plane,
oh my gosh, this is so
and it looks smooth. And it looks great. Right? If it's metal and there's a dent, there's a problem, right? Plane, if it's a composite, it's smooth. But you don't know whether, 50 layers down, water has seeped in. And it's going to start blossoming, and then all of a sudden...
Well, I think I'll cancel my flight to Denver tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's a real issue. It's absolutely a real issue. Like this, the incident that opens the book is based on a real thing.
Yeah.
I remember that happening.
Yeah. So I sort of like to do that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, this really did happen.
Yeah.
And that really did happen, but everything that you infer, I think, you'll confirm if I'm right or wrong, no matter what business you're in, you choose aerospace design, but it could have been banking, hello, it could have been politics, hello, where something horrible, I mean terrible, life-threatening, like, oh, I don't know, a war and, materials, will be kept from the public, or people with power will put on this play that this... Everything's fine. Don't look at the man behind.
It's behind the curtain. Right. And so, people, there are people who will cover up terrible things in order to protect the bottom line of a company, right?
Yeah. So
and look what's happening right now, today, yesterday.
You were clairvoyant.
Well,
I'm really sucking up, so you'll sign this for me. But yes.
And that's one of the things that kind of motivates me. I mean, we were talking with Dennis Lehane, and Dennis, one of the things that motivates him is class. That's one of his. In me, it has to do with sort of dishonesty at high levels. I mean, I just get really angry when I hear about that we have been lied to, right? Whether it's by a high politician or by a corporate executive, right? And this stuff happens. And it sort of makes me really furious. And so, to me, that's villainy. That's better than a serial murderer, because someone who's lying to cover up a defect in a plane, hundreds and hundreds of people could die in a plane crash.
While taking $1 million bonuses,
and
just being a big old bully.
That's right.
About what Russell, the hostage taker, said to Jake about what if you can walk your whole life without really knowing if you're a coward or not.
Right.
Made me think, what if you're never put to the test? What does that mean? And should we look for the opportunity in life to be put to the test? Well, I mean, the whole time that this is going on, I'm thinking, what would I do? Well, you'd be afraid to actually get up and go try to do something because you'd be afraid to be shot. What is the right move? And I think that all of us would have been thinking about that while we were reading it.
One of my sources was on the FBI's hostage rescue team, and he was involved in Ruby Ridge and some of these other major things. Great guy, incredibly knowledgeable, and I called him up and I said, all right, here's the situation. you're Jake. What would you do? Oh, man. And he started, we started going. I wanted to hear what he had to say. And I talked to someone else who had done this to sort of get a sense of how they would handle it.
Well, good for you. Huh?
And, people had different responses and had, different, right? But in both cases, they said, well, if I don't do something, no one will.
I did my own research on you. You graduated summa cum laude from Yale, right?
Yep.
In Russian studies?
Yep.
Then you went and got your master's from the Harvard Russian Research Center.
Yep.
And your background is in international politics.
I was planning to be a spy, basically. That was my
Is that what you were
goal.
planning
That was
to?
my career path. I was supposed to work for the CIA. And they recruited me as they would have recruited anyone in my situation. Now, I was fluent in Russian. I was an expert in Russian politics and Soviet politics. And I went out to Langley, at CIA headquarters.
Sure.
And you see, my problem is that I had read all these Robert Ludlum novels. So my idea of what a CIA officer did was, like they give you a Glock, and all these fake passports and all that. I go in there and it's like, well, that's the cubicle where you'd be sitting. I was like, no. And you'd be translating Russian economic journals into English. I just said, no. This is not what I wanted to do with my life.
Is this going to be a soon-to-be major motion picture?
No idea.
Can I
Right
try
now,
to
no.
see
It was optioned out.
Yeah.
It would make a great movie.
It really would.
It'd make a great movie.
Not Allie,
You'd be
huh?
good. You'd be good.
You'd be a good Allie.
I'd be a good
She
Jake.
would be a perfect Allie
She'd
because she's
be a
tough.
perfect Allie.
Yeah.
Well, you told a hell of a story.
You
Yeah.
really
Great
did.
story.
And we
Oh,
got on
hell
a
of a
roll,
story.
and we
Unbelievable
were basically
story.
out of time, and
Wow.
this was a lot of fun.
Well, there you go.
Great
Joe,
book,
thanks for
Joan.
coming.
Great
Thank
book.
you.
Thank
Great
you
It
so
was
much.
wonderful.
It was
Marjorie,
great.
thanks for being here.
This also went really
James,
fast.
Thank you
for
for having
being
me.
here.
Always
James,
wonderful.
you guys are
Thank
the
you very
best.
much.
Thank you
Thanks
guys for
being
having
here.
us on.
Thank
And now you will give me a nice
Yeah.
inscription. There you go.
Sign up your book club this month and receive a signed copy of Joseph Finder's Power Play. Limited offer. See openbookclub.tv for details.